Welcome to another episode of the Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast, where we offer actions and steps you can take today to start balancing your hormones naturally. This is your podcast host, Leah Brueggemann. I am a functional diagnostic nutritional practitioner. I am honored and excited to be your guide on your journey to better understanding your hormonal health and how it affects your everyday life. Hey ladies, welcome to the first podcast of 2022. That's just wild to say. So I'm announcing the winner of the giveaway of a spot in the Hormone Reset program at the end, so make sure you listen to the end. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it at the end. So best of luck to you until we reach the end. I know you missed me for 2 weeks, but I did enjoy taking some time off. I deleted my social media apps. It was wonderful. And just had some quiet time. I read some books that were non-educational, that were just pure fiction, and that was awesome because typically all I ever read anymore is educational. If you're on my email list, you would have gotten my email of all the top hormone happy books that I recommend, and I know everybody really enjoyed that because who doesn't love some reading to learn more about your body? But it was nice to just sit and read something purely for entertainment. We got to see our family. It was just a wonderful, very much needed break. And after taking that break, I actually was planning out my 2020 year in terms of business, and I scheduled in multiple weeks off, and I never do that, but I preach all the time about managing your stress and all that kind of stuff, and I do my EFT tapping, and I go on my walks, and I journal. But I am so bad about taking time off and just making myself unavailable to the world to answer questions. And it's something that I'm really working on in 2022 because I love helping you guys and I love answering your questions and helping you learn more about your body. But I also have to protect my time and my peace of soul so that I can continue doing that. So I've set some boundaries for myself coming into 2022, like not beating myself up if I can't answer every single question and, trying to answer the people who are there, within so many times of me like putting up a post and answering questions. But I get a lot of DMs and I wish I could get to everybody, but I'd probably lose my mind. So that's why I put out this podcast. That's why I put out all those reels, and that's why I have my Facebook group and I do trainings almost every single week, because I know I can't get to every single person personally, but I do want you to have that education. But I also want to protect my energy. So I have scheduled in weeks off. Like, who am I? I'm so excited about that. Hopefully we'll be able to take some vacations this year. So I'm really excited about all of that. And speaking of that, if you have been wanting to work with me, I know I haven't been taking clients for a while. So I do have some spots open for one-on-one coaching. So I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of what that is. So my one-on-one coaching, I call it one-on-one coaching / group hybrid because I love giving you my time in one-on-one. But I found that everybody still yearned for community, knowing other women were going through the exact same thing. And so that's where I came up with the one-on-one / group hybrid. So this is the only way to work with me one-on-one. It's 4 months and I will take you through everything. So everything. 4 months seemed like a very good time frame. It takes about 3 months. 90 days for your hormones to reset. You get unlimited Voxer support, so that's one-on-one voice text messaging support Monday through Fridays. You have a Dutch panel as well as a Dutch panel as well as a hair mineral analysis in there. So you need to balance your minerals in order to balance your hormones, because your minerals are your building blocks. And then a Dutch hormone panel is a comprehensive hormone panel. Lets us know what your hormone levels are at, how your body's detoxing them, etc. I love a Dutch panel. So you will get an analysis of those, and I always film a video for you that walks you through your lab so you thoroughly understand it. You aren't just like, oh, I have high estrogen, cool. I'll walk you through why you have it and how it correlates with your symptoms and what you're going to do about it, so you feel very empowered. And you can rewatch that video as many times as you want. But the group aspect is we will have a group accountability group, oh my gosh, that was way too many groups, and group calls. And the reason why is I found that it's just so encouraging to have other women going through the same thing, as well as everybody asks different questions. So I find that everyone gets a much more rounded education when it's a group, because, so-and-so may ask a different question than Susie, and, Courtney may ask a different question than Susie. So everybody learns more, and I just made up those names. So I love this setup, and it has been working extremely well. And I just find that it's the best of both worlds. You get my unlimited one-on-one support. It's the only way to work with me one-on-one. It's the only way to run labs with me. But you also get that group community and support. And I've had women join for painless periods. They've lost their periods, like extremely heavy bleeding, chronic fatigue, acne, can't lose weight, mood swings, and the stories are just amazing. Women finally understanding their bloating, finally having energy to play with their kids again, feeling better than they have before, so able to show up for their work, finally having a period that doesn't make them want to go to the ER. They're actually able to function on their period. So it's really, really cool, the stories that, and the lives of the women that we're able to impact this way. So if you would like to join this round, I only take 10 women at a time. I don't know how many spots will be open by the time you hear this, but you can go ahead and apply. I'll put the link in the show notes, and you just go ahead and apply. There's a video that, walks you through more in detail if you want to watch that in the Google form application, and then hit submit, and I'll read through your application. If I think you're a good fit, then I will reach out to you. So please make sure to answer the questions as in detail as you can, so that I'm not wasting your time and you're not wasting my time. We can see if this is a good fit, because I don't want to work with women who don't seriously want to make a change in their life and feel better. If you're just like, oh, if I just join this program, I'm going to magically be cured, then this is not the right program for you, because we're all about understanding your body and truly healing your body. And that means putting in the consistent work, the consistent mindset work to truly heal and come out on the other end. All right, so besides all that, let's go ahead and jump into our topic today, which is all about estrogen. So what is estrogen? Okay, so estrogen, I know, gets a bad rap from people all the time. They're like, I'm estrogen dominant. Estrogen's, so bad. Estrogen's cancer causing. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. We need estrogen. Estrogen is, one of the main reasons why we ovulate there, because we need estrogen to get to a certain level in order to ovulate. Estrogen literally makes your lips fuller, makes you feel cuter. It's your sexy hormone. Estrogen makes you feel good. It helps increase your sensitivity to insulin. It helps you utilize carb better. It helps you build muscle easier. There's so many wonderful things to estrogen. But, all good things in moderation. So we also don't want estrogen to get out of control, because when you have estrogen, out of control, and that can be estrogen just high period, or it can be high in relation to your progesterone and your testosterone, or your estrogen levels could be normal, but it's not detoxing and metabolizing correctly, which this is something that's really cool about the Dutch test, because it doesn't just show your levels, it shows how your body detoxes and metabolizes those hormones. And you have 2 phases of detox for your estrogen. So your estrogen could be at normal levels, but maybe you are getting stuck at one of your phases of detoxification, and then obviously things aren't moving through. So I just want to talk about some generalized things to do to help support your estrogen, okay? And this is where you're not going to hear me say take like DIM or something like that, because DIM lowers your estrogen and pushes it down the correct pathway. But if your estrogen is already low, DIM is going to make it a million times worse. So you don't want to just supplement without testing. That's where some supplements, like magnesium is a much safer supplement that you can take without like running an extensive, panel. But DIM is not one of those. DIM is not one you just want to aimlessly supplement around with, because sorry, that was my pen. If your estrogen isn't actually high and you just have symptoms of it because it's just not detoxing correctly, then DIM's not going to help the problem, okay? So I just want to talk about some overall structural things that you can do for estrogen, no matter if you are low or high. So this is just going to be neutral depending on what your levels are, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about, like, nutritionally, what can we do for estrogen? So number one I'm going to talk about is going to be seed cycling, because seed cycling not only helps raise your estrogen if you need it, but it also will help detox your estrogen as needed as well. So it kind of hits the best of both worlds there. So that's going to be 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seed, 1 tablespoon of flaxseed from your period to ovulation, and then ovulation to period, it's 1 tablespoon of sesame and 1 tablespoon of sunflower every single day. And of course, if you want to make that simpler, you can always use Funk It Wellness seeds. They are amazing. That's what I use because they ship right to my door. They're linked in the show notes, of course. If you are low in estrogen, what I always have people do, and this is, again, if you've tested, I will have people double their estrogen, double their flax seeds. So you'll take 2 tablespoons of flax seeds from period to ovulation, and then ovulation to period, you'll take sesame, sunflower, and continue flax as well. Another thing that we do food-wise is raspberries. So this fruit, raspberry, is really high in what's called ellagic acid, which is a compound that stimulates, here's a really fancy word for you, GSTM1 and GSTP, which helps, fancy word, it helps neutralize your estrogen quinones. So when estrogen is detoxing, for example, down your incorrect pathway, these estrogens can actually bind to your DNA and break off, causing cellular damage. So raspberries help neutralize those estrogen quinones, and it helps support phase 2 detoxification and eliminating that estrogen. So raspberries are an amazing support for this. Another one that I really love is, I'm having a brain blank. No, I'm not. Carrots. So raw carrots are full of soluble fiber. And that is what can bind to your estrogen and you poop it out. So very, very important, which brings me to my next thing. You need to be pooping a minimum of 1 time a day, okay? That's literally how you detoxify estrogen. It's how it gets out of your body. So when we think about pooping, I'm not talking about like random constipation, like every once in a while you just have a day you don't poop. But if you're consistently constipated, that's not good. So if your poop is not moving, estrogen comes out in your poop, like estrogen metabolites. And if it's just sticking around in there and goes back into circulation, you guys, that's not good, okay? And on top of that, like, so if we combine not pooping and then you combine that with imbalances in your gut flora, this can lead to an increased production of beta glucuronidase, which is an enzyme in your gut that can reactivate the bound estrogen. So when it's in you're pooping out, it's bound estrogen, right? And it can disconnect them from what we call the methyl group. So when you think about this, your estrogen, which is no longer water soluble, you're like pooping it out, but then instead, because of these imbalances and you're not pooping, gets reabsorbed into your bloodstream. And now constipation is like making this whole process worse because you aren't just taking your estrogen, it's not getting bound and pooped out and we're like, bye, detoxing. No, you're constipated, it's sitting around, and then your imbalance because of your gut issues are causing this enzyme to reactivate the bound estrogen, and we're taking it away from the methyl group, and now you're having more estrogen and more issues of estrogen dominance, right? And so the longer and more often you're constipated, the bigger issue that this can cause with your hormones. And so one of the big things I see with this also is acne. So yeah, if you have acne, we really need to look at whether or not you're pooping. So pooping's important. So yeah, those are your foods. Pooping's important. And then the last two I want to talk about is your liver and gut support. So we talked about that enzyme. If you have gut imbalances, that can reactivate that bound estrogen. So some things that are helpful for that, one is obviously supporting your gut. That's where I just love the Megaspore probiotic from Microbiome Labs. Fingers crossed, I'm trying to get the founder of that on the podcast to do an interview. But that spore, so it literally will help your good bacteria multiply and kill off and target the bad bacteria, which we want. So I would definitely recommend that. That, of course, you can always get linked from FullScript. It's always in the show notes to how to get your discounted supplements there. And then calcium deglucarate is a supplement that can be helpful if you are having a lot of symptoms of estrogen dominance, but you don't actually have high estrogen. You're just having issues detoxing it because of your gut, because gut plays a big role in our estrogen detox. So there's a lot you want to do to make sure you're pooping constantly, and if you're continually having to rely on like prunes and laxatives and magnesium citrate, then that's not a good thing. We need to figure out why your drainage pathways aren't open, why you're not pooping. So definitely start with your basics. Like, are you eating enough fiber? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you moving and exercising, doing stretches that like help twist and wring out your intestines, for lack of a better term? Those are all good ways to start that are simple and free. And then also you want to support your liver, because your liver is what metabolizes and detoxes excess and mutated hormones. So if you have hormonal imbalances and you're dealing with signs of estrogen dominance or symptoms of low estrogen, no matter what that is, you need to be supporting your liver. Okay, so my favorite ways of supporting my liver are eating a balanced diet, because you need balance. The more stable you can keep your blood sugar, the less you have to pull on your liver for glycogen, right? And your liver can just, detox and not have to continually be frantic helping you balance your blood sugar. Not drinking alcohol is another great way to support your liver. And then, of course, I love some bitter herbs, dandelion, milk thistle, bitters. All those are great. But remember, that only supports phase 1 detox of your liver. Phase 2 detox is going to be all about protein. So again, that goes back to your balanced blood sugar. Are you getting in enough protein? Because amino acids are what bind to those toxins and have that second phase of detox and swish them out of your body. Okay. So balanced blood sugar, getting that protein in is really, really helpful. One of my other ways that I just love supporting the liver is actually castor oil packs. No, you can't do these if you're pregnant. You can't do them if you have copper IUDs or any type of IUD. You also can't do, wouldn't want to do them, for example, if you are trying to get pregnant after ovulation. You can do them up to ovulation, but not post ovulation. The castor oil packs are an amazing way to support the liver as well. So those are my favorite ways. And that's how I would support estrogen, whether it's too high or too low, unless we've done testing. So not any specific supplements targeted at that. This is just general wellness support everyone should be doing for your estrogen, okay? So, are you ready for the winner of HRP giveaway? So the winner is, I can't pronounce this, but it's WLSNLOVE. So Wilson Love, maybe? Is that what it is? Okay, so it says totally worth 10 stars. Leah really breaks it all down and makes it easy to understand and follow along in her podcasts about natural and holistic ways of resetting and balancing hormones, and such a wealth of knowledge about getting your health under control and how to really get to know your body and know what really works for you. I highly recommend following her podcast. I'm just lucky enough to follow along on Facebook also. Thank you for all you do, Leah. I can't wait to learn more as time goes by. You're awesome. Well, you are awesome, whatever your actual name is. So please reach out. Let me know. I have this screenshot so I don't forget who I chose. And reach out and we will get you set up with your free spot in the hormone reset. So congratulations. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Balancing Hormones Naturally. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend and post it on your stories and tag Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast so we can get this message out. You can find me on Instagram at Leah_BRUEG, and I would absolutely love to hear from you.